This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam, a new podcast for engaged couples concerned about wedding planning and family expectations but want a stress-free, fun, and unforgettable wedding.
Hi, I'm Sal Fusco of After Hours Events of New England. In my 40 years, I've performed at over 3,500 weddings. Working consistently keeps me in tune with the wedding industry.
Hi, I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions Disc Jockey Service. I've been DJing since the mid-'70s in radio, nightclubs, and thousands of weddings, helping and interacting with hundreds of engaged couples.
Welcome to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
You've picked your wedding date and the venue. You've asked your wedding party. Now, what are the roles of the parents and what are their responsibilities? Why is the role of the officiant so important?
After listening to this edition of Stress-Free Wedding Planning, you're going to know and understand the answer to those questions.
Learn more about our journey to help you with stress-free wedding planning in the trailer or pilot of this podcast. In today's edition, what are the responsibilities of the parents? What about the ring bearer?
But first, if you have a question or concern, go now to Facebook and join us on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning community and ask away.
With over 80 years of combined wedding experience and insider information, this is Stress-Free Wedding Planning with your hosts, Sal and Sam, a new podcast for engaged couples who are stressed about wedding planning and family expectations, but want to have a fun wedding. Listen now for revealing wedding insider secrets, tips, and strategy or lesson that you'll be able to implement for a stress-free wedding. Information that you just can't miss and may just change your life. Take the journey with us from worry and concern to a stress-free and unforgettable wedding day. The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
Previously on part one of Who's Who in the Wedding Party and what are their responsibilities, we discussed, do you need a wedding party? Who should you include? When should you include them? And we also discussed the groomsmen, bridesmaid, best man, maid, and matron of honor.
Now, if you remember from that last edition, we also talk about a flower grandma, having a flower guy who comes down the aisle with his little pack and he's throwing out flowers. There's the beer boy. So there's a lot of fun things that can happen. And who's the sidekick to all this? But the ring bearer. And the ring bearer is exactly what the name implies, is the person who supposedly takes care of the ring. Now, I have found many times the ring bearer does not have the real rings. Okay, we're not going to trust a young child, and sometimes the guy who's flying down the aisle doing weird ring bearer things too may not be the right person either, because he's just a zany guy. But typically, the best man has the rings and holds on to them, or sometimes the best man will have the groom's ring, and the maid of honor will have, or matron of honor will have, the bride's ring.
Yep.
Ring bearer has been different things. I've had the security guy. So you have this kid who's in a tuxed out. He's got the security briefcase.
Yep.
And they handcuffed it to him, which is pretty cool. And the kid doesn't even know it because they haven't opened this thing up in front of him, but they're going to have him open it. And I've had where candy just goes flying out and really excites the child. So, which is pretty cool.
You want to appoint somebody who is a family member to this position. You could also do a family pet. Be as eventful as you really want to be. So now let's go on to the topic of the parents now, because this is kind of an important juncture. The mother of the bride. There is no formal duty that she has to do, the same as the father of the groom. There is no official formality that they have to do, but they are a very important part of the wedding. I know a lot of mothers of the bride plan the rehearsal, or just are the ones that corral people to do things on the day. And sometimes they even give a speech at the rehearsal dinner or the wedding reception. It is a very important role.
It is. Dads are just like, tell me when to be there and how to dress, and I'll be there type of thing. So, moms are huge when it comes to this whole thing. And they kind of sometimes, they're the glue to everything, to keeping it together.
They do see the overall perspective of the day and what's going on. And usually the mother is the one that notices that the centerpieces are in the wrong place, or there's a different color flower, or the DJ should have worn a tux instead of a t-shirt. Little things like that are what the mothers, they do notice, and that's a great responsibility.
Yeah, I think moms are more in touch of what their daughter is looking for, or daughter-in-law is looking for, being a woman themselves. This there's details that are more important to them than it is to the guys.
Yep.
So it's great to have these women there to help them through the whole process.
And then there's what I call the FOB, the father of the bride. There is no more important role at the wedding as the dad of the bride. And as you know, I'm going to be one soon. So I really look up to that title. I've seen many father of the bride who really do fantastic speeches and who really are the strong person in the room until they see their daughter and they break down crying. I hope to do the same thing. Yeah.
Just a bunch of mush.
Just a bunch of mush. But traditionally, the father of the bride pays for the wedding. And, tradition nowadays just goes out the window. Most couples pay for their own weddings and the parents do help.
Yes. And then, of course, there's the speech. There's the father-daughter dance. So there's a couple of very important parts in the wedding itself. And let's start with walking down the aisle with their daughter.
Yep.
That's got to be one of the toughest things for Dad. And Sam, I don't envy you.
Well, don't worry. You'll be doing it soon. Now, the mother of the groom is the next one on our list to honor. And she takes center stage. It's very similar to the father of the bride role because the mother of the groom is going to dance with her son at the reception. So the father of the bride and the mother of the groom roles are very important. Lots of pictures are going to be taken of these two at the event.
Yeah, the spotlight's there. Like it or not, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. In some cases, the mother of the groom may also want to give a speech. I don't see this too often unless the mother of the groom is someone that helps plan the reception with the bride, for instance. Then she usually has the honor to do that. But again, another important role is the mother of the groom. And then finally, we have the father of the groom. As we're speaking about the parents now. The father of the groom is one of those responsibilities that is not really an active role. He's just like a figurehead because, again, there is no special dance. There's no traditional things for them to do, but it is part of the formalities.
Yes. He's kind of the lucky guy. He's a little, gets to stand behind and kind of watch what's happening and enjoy everything because there's not much of a job for him except to support his son.
I think you said it right there, Sal. It is a supporting role where the father of the groom may support the mother of the groom, but also he may also be watching over the wedding party, or he may go to the bachelor party and watch over that as being like a fatherly figure. It is a responsibility, as I said, that there's no active role, but you still need to have him there. There's also the possibility of giving a speech. There's also the possibility of the father of the groom welcoming the guests at the church or at the synagogue or wherever the ceremony is going to be taking place. So it is an honorary role, but it's still something that's needed.
So Sam has mentioned a couple of times here about speeches with the father of the groom and also with the mother of the groom. And as a norm, it doesn't happen at the actual reception. It normally happens at the rehearsal that happens before the reception.
True.
Not to say they can't do it at the wedding. They absolutely can. If that's what you want them to do, that is not a big deal. The norm, I guess we call it, is it's at the rehearsal.
Yep. So when we come back, we're going to discuss what your usher should be doing and the most important role, the officiant. Sal has a lot to say about this when we come back.
You're listening to the Stress Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is brought to you by Emerge Cosmetics. Are you ready to emerge? A new line of luxurious lipsticks and lip glosses created with the intention of empowerment and coming into who you truly are. Strong, beautiful, and confident. Use coupon code EBI10 at shopemergecosmetics.com for an instant 10% discount. That's coupon code EBI10 for 10% discount at shopemergecosmetics.com. Emerge as the true you.
On today's Wedding Tip Wednesday, hair and makeup is the topic. If possible, and I stress, if possible, try to schedule your hair and makeup trial for the day of one of your dress fittings. You'll get to see the whole look put together. This means planning ahead and getting your act together so that hair and makeup and your dress fitting are on the same day. It does take some coordinating.
It does. And it's important to think about certain things, such as if you're having a dress fitting on a weekend, your hair and makeup may not be able to do it that day because they're doing other weddings. So if you could figure out a dress fitting on a day during the week that your hair and makeup person could do it at the same day, that would be the best fit for you.
All you want to really see is that look put together as one. That's what you're really going for. So if you can work it so you have them on the same day, even better for you. And if not, well, you'll just have to use your imagination. That's today's Wedding Tip Wednesday.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is available on the Stress Free Wedding Planning Facebook group page every Wednesday. Join the group for free.
Do you want access to a stress-free wedding planning process? Then go to our website, allthews.atmosphere-productions.com, and get my free report. 8 questions you must ask a wedding professional before booking them. Get it today. That's allthews.atmosphere-productions.com. Look for the free report and learn to shop like a pro from a pro, and go from concern and worry to stress-free wedding planning.
Jewelry is one of those things you don't think about or really even care about until you venture into the uncharted waters of the jewelry world, especially for guys. It gets confusing pretty fast, and it doesn't help that you're going to spend a lot of money on something you're basically going to give away. It's nerve-wracking, and I get it. My name is Andy Kane, and I'm the 3rd-generation owner of Kane & Kane Jewelers and the creator and host of the Buy Like a Guy podcast. I've helped literally thousands of guys not only get through the buying process, but actually help them understand where the value of diamonds and fine jewelry come from, what quality looks like, and why something like jewelry matters in the first place. These are quick hit episodes that come out every Thursday, and it's a library of diamond and fine jewelry information that you can choose from based on what you want to know. There's no fluffy jewelry talk. I get right in there and tell it like it is. Ultimately, Buy Like a Guy is a podcast with the tools you need to buy an engagement ring, wedding rings, or other important jewelry with confidence. So go to buylikeaguy.com to listen and follow now.
Don't know what to do for your first dance? Is your future spouse having trouble picking a song to dance with their parent? Worry no more, I have the answer. Go to afterhoursevents.com/contact guest. That is CONTACTGUEST. And you'll be able to listen to hours of music to help you select the right songs for your upcoming wedding. Again, go to afterhoursevents.com/contact guest.
Welcome back to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
Today's discussion is what are the responsibilities of the parents? We're doing the who's who in the wedding party and what their responsibilities are. Hi, I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions Disc Jockey Service. Weddings with expert knowledge and the difference in quality.
Hi, I'm Sal from After Hours Events of New England, the leader in making your wedding stress-free.
We've already discussed the parents, what their responsibilities are, the ring bearer. Now we're going to discuss 2 important figures. Those are the ushers and the officiants. Let's do the ushers before we get into the officiants, because I know Sal has a lot to say on this. And the ushers are a group of your wedding party who, as the word suggests, ushers guests to their seats at the ceremony. So if you have an outdoor ceremony, you might need somebody to seat these people. Typically, the usher escorts the lady down and the gentleman follows. That's an old tradition. You can also have the ushers just walk guests to their seats. But that is the official role of the usher.
Yeah, so I'm finding that role is becoming more of the groomsman's role.
Yep.
Instead of having ushers, we already have groomsmen. So how do we have them just do that? So I'm finding that more often. I do still see the 2 guys with the same suits, at the beginning of the chairs there to escort people down. It happens, but it's just not as often as it used to be.
This role is often confused with the groomsmen. I think that could be why you mentioned that, is their duties are really just escorting people to their seats. So you're right. So why not just have the groomsmen do it? And ushers are also typically friends of the bride and the groom that take this role. You can also have young teenagers do this job.
I've also seen young ladies who are giving out the programs and things like that and just walk right over here. So they're not actually escorting them, but they're giving them the programs and kind of showing them where they should go.
Yep. So it is a role that you can still use, but most of the time we suggest, just have the groomsmen do it. On to the big one that I know you're going to have a lot to talk about is the role of the officiant. Sal is an officiant. Not only does he DJ, but he also officiates a lot of weddings. So this role is very important. So explain the importance of this role.
Okay, the importance of the role is, well, one, you need to make sure you get the right officiant. Do you want something that's religious, non-religious? Is that person you're picking to do either or? So if you change your mind and what direction you're going in, this is the person who's also going to make this day real in the sense of they will officially make you as a married couple. So they're taking care of the ceremony. They're taking care of the paperwork properly afterwards and making sure town hall gets it. So you are officially the Mr. and Mrs. that you're telling everyone that you are. Go back to edition 7. This will tell you a lot about wedding officiants and a lot of the rules and what you need to do, because there are different laws in each state and you need to abide by them by the letter, or your license could be nullified.
No kidding. And that's pretty serious. Nobody wants that, right?
Yeah. Oh, to give you a story, I was talking to a town hall clerk one day, and she said, I had a woman come into my office and she was handing me her license. Now, you're not supposed to do that. You're not actually supposed to have possession of your license after the ceremony has taken place. The officiant is supposed to get it to town hall. There's a chain of command. The officiant is supposed to have it prior to the ceremony actually taking place, and they're the ones who are supposed to make sure town hall gets it. Now, to make this story even more interesting is she was cleaning the house. She found this license, but the thing is, the license was 30 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
You were not married for the first 7 years until it became common law afterwards. So,
Really?
yeah, very odd thing. Nothing like having to tell someone that you weren't really in the traditional sense married.
That's incredible. That's a great story, Sal. Now, the officiant doesn't have to be a religious person, right?
Not at all. Not at all. There's the justice of peace who could do a civil ceremony. You could also have friends who get ordained that could do it, and they could do religious or non-religious. So you're not set to have it one way, or you can have a little bit of both. Just sprinkle a little religion in there. It can be whatever you want it to be. There's no set course that you have to do it a certain way.
And also explain to us about the justice of peace, because that's a very political post. Mm-hmm. It's something that if you book your justice of peace 4 years out, for instance, you have to make sure that they are reappointed, correct?
This is true. So a justice of peace has to renew every 4 years, which is on a presidential election year. So if they don't get approved for the next time around and your wedding's after that date, you may have to get somebody else. It's such a rare thing. I mean, they would have had to done something pretty bad to not get reappointed into that position. But also, you got to consider would they consider retiring at that point? So you just need to keep in contact with them. So if you're far in advance, just keep in contact with your JP to be sure. Because, again, it's presidential year, which we're coming up on one really soon. So these are things you need to be concerned about.
Today's discussion, what are the responsibilities of the parents, ring bearers, mother and father of the bride, the officiant, the usher. You can also go back to the previous edition where we discussed about the groomsmen, flower girls, bridesmaid, best man, maid, and matron of honor. These all encompass the wedding party. And who's who in the wedding party. We discussed all about their responsibilities. I hope this was helpful to you.
You're listening to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
So there you have it. We just shared with you who's who in the wedding party and what are the parents' responsibilities. You learned how important the roles of the parents are, but we also explained what the ushers and the officiant do also.
Now, as you spend the next week planning your wedding, if you want me, Sal, and our community of stress-free engaged couples and wedding experts to answer any wedding-related questions, then join us over in the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group.
Once you're in, go ahead and share your concerns and worries, and we'll let you know if you're on the right track or if there's some things you should be working on. The link to join us is in the show notes of this edition, or go to Facebook and search for the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Community.
Thank you for listening to this edition. If you enjoyed what you just heard, leave a review and share with a friend or someone who would benefit from this information. Until next time then, it's TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
Remember, a new edition is released every Wednesday. Subscribe and get it first. We'll catch you then. Ciao.
The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast is produced and copyrighted by Atmosphere Productions in association with After Hours Events of New England.